will open the select board meeting for the February 26th. It is 5:03. Our agenda tonight, we have a public comment session, followed by approval of minutes from January 29th, 2025, and a discussion on a parcel at 86 Century Way and consideration of disposition. There's a request by the Conservation Commission for the use of Wetland Protection Act funds, and we'll be opening a warrant for the annual town meeting on May 12th, 2025. Opt in the early voting for annual town election for May 20th, 2025. And then we will enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, pursuant to Purpose 2, to construct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. Oh my God, I can't speak. Jason Silva, the town administrator, and with William Farrell, fire chief from the Dunstable Police Union, NEPBA Local 7, and to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Jason Silva, town administrator. After that, we will not be coming into public session again. So the first thing we do is open up to the public. Is anyone in the public who would like to speak to something not on the agenda? You two are just here for general entertainment. All right, good enough. All right, so we'll roll into the meeting minutes for January 29th. I assume we've all read them. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the meeting minutes from January 29th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good enough. Thank you, Sue. Next up. So there is a undeveloped parcel at Century Way, number 86, that was taken by the town for tax purposes. Yeah, back, I'm not sure how long ago that was, but it's been a while.
I think it started in '96 and we
Okay,
secured control of property, I think, and it was in '99 and 2000.
so it's a 2-acre lot, sort of strangely shaped. It's the frontage on Century Way and then that long strip that ties into property owned by the land trust, actually. I believe.
Yeah.
It's a little rat tail to get it to 2 acres, right? So it's a bit of a lot.
There are a few properties on Century Way like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that whole section there.
Yeah, because the New Hampshire line is right there.
Yeah.
yeah. And it is, I think, get the 2 acre
Yeah.
count, basically.
So what are we thinking about with this?
Well, I think we put it on the agenda. It's a lot on Century Way that doesn't, unless I'm missing something, I don't think serves a real public purpose at this point, other than being a vacant lot. And there are some grade issues. It looks like there's probably some ledge on the property. But it is a potentially buildable lot that someone may be interested in. And so I figure it's at least worth a discussion on whether or not there's interest in pursuing disposition of the property. Because it was taken in tax title, the process is a little different. You can just basically auction it off. But there is a prescriptive process you have to follow to do that.
Right.
So, so that's, just have a discussion about that, and I didn't want to do anything until I knew the position of the board.
So this came to us as a recommendation from the land use committee.
It is a recommendation of the land use committee. Dave's here, and you do have a recommendation from the land use committee in your packet with regard to this property.
Do you want to give us a quick summary of the deliberations?
Yeah, so where we stand right now is we'd like the town obviously to retain as much land as possible. When we was coming through, we saw that Century Way just didn't seem to have the typical conservation piece. It was taken through taxes. So once we started discussing it, we looked at it a way to either to help boost the capital budget for any capital expenditures and help facilitate any additional leases on other pieces, so there's no tax burden. And then at the very least, get some tax revenue into the town, small baby step, even if it's not buildable. Get $1,000 a year for it, it's something.
Yeah,
Um,
one's better than
It was
zero.
a pretty unanimous decision, there wasn't much back and forth on it, it just seemed like that.
So if it's not suitable to build, I mean, who might possibly buy that? Are there neighbors interested or?
I would say in the Butterwood, Mr. Cheney has expressed interest in buying it, so,
Is he in a butter?
no, he's
No.
not.
It doesn't have to be in butter.
Um,
I'm just curious, sometimes the butters to
Yeah,
parcels like this that are not buildable, like to just be able to expand, but I can't see anybody go out there paying any fair market value for something that's not buildable.
no, I don't see it either.
And we know it not to be buildable?
Yeah,
No,
that's exactly that. Do we know it not to be buildable?
No.
I don't think so. I don't know if anyone's done the due diligence
I
on it.
think, I mean,
It's
there's,
a 2 acre lot and
there's
that's lots
great
of everyone's
issues,
own.
there's ledge, I think it looked to me, I mean, I didn't go out and walk it, but I drove by it, I got out, I kind of looked at it.
Yeah.
It looked like there was some ledge there, so it would require some blasting, but the market the way it is, which in some ways, I think it probably would have some interest. Those conditions might affect the price, the overall price we get for it, but it's quite possible there's interest in it.
I don't think it would have been buildable at the price point from when Century Way went in. Now with the price of houses in town, it's completely different. I mean, people are desperate to get in.
Hasn't been a new house for sale in town in more than 70 days.
New or just a house?
Just a house
Just
for
in
sale,
general, yeah.
like a listing.
Anything.
Any,
Yeah.
I mean, there's that lot on Westford Street that finally went under and they're putting a custom ranch in there. And I know with all the wetlands considerations, even all that.
A ranch?
Yeah, that's gonna sit all the way back there. It's a custom ranch. It's going in.
Oh, that could be cool.
So I've heard, but that's.
Yeah.
Social media at its best.
Well, I would think too that anybody that would consider would want to have permits in hand before they would negotiate a price, I would think.
No, you wouldn't get a permit until you get a.
Yeah, but they would have to do, now you'd be looking to sell it,
No,
the site.
you
And
just-
that, you gotta just auction it out.
Right.
Okay.
It's gotta go.
Yeah. Just,
That's the first step. Somebody's gotta buy it.
so literally, 100,000, no, 125, no.
Yeah.
Is- Do we have, is the tax title taking process legally concluded? Does the town, if we were to
Oh,
go to
yeah,
that?
yeah,
We've had it for a
You know
long
what I'm
time.
saying? We-
So is it a clear title that the
the
town?
documents are, the decision from the land court and the deed are in the packet. I think.
96, yeah.
There was is this the land that they were gonna put up a Doppler radar?
No,
No?
That was up on Blanchard Hill off Sky
Blanchard Hill off Skytop.
Oh, okay, that's it, yeah.
This is Century Way.
I mean, why would you let that go for? That's the, I mean, that piece of property, I wouldn't just
The capitalist in me says,
see you later.
let's sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
Because a
opposed
building
to
lot in
doing
Dunstable,
that.
it's an R1 community, R1 street. We could sell it for $250 and to the land uses thoughts offset some capital stuff for 1 year.
But we have to auction.
Well, I think, so
I see you, Joe, and I'll get to you when the board's.
as long as the board is okay with pursuing this option, then we get, like, there are attorneys who specialize in this, they get paid on the back end, not the front end, so they'll take a cut of it. Is typically, based on my experience, is typically how it works. And then you hire a
local
firm to come
brokerage,
in and
yeah.
just run the auctions. I've used in my past life, a couple of folks who do that as their line of work, so.
Can we also just put it out there on the market? Like, could we hire
Oh, if you
a
can-
brokerage?
I think the tax title process is very prescriptive. I'm
Okay.
not an expert in it, but to dispose of it, I think it's,
Auction.
I think it's auction.
Okay. Because, part of me is like, you put it out there for 250 and you got 250. And it's the buyer's responsibility to figure out, do that.
Mm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
They pay the commissions, they do all that, they pay the closing costs, and the town washes their hand up.
I think
But I'm
It has to be
guessing
auction. I
because of
remember
this
that from
happens in the cities and stuff like
working
that.
in North Reading, we used
Yeah.
to sell land all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I did it in my last town, I think 3 times, and we always just had them come to town hall and had a good old fashioned auction. Since it's actually entertaining to watch, but.
But we would set a minimum bid based on the valuation, right? What's the thing worth?
A buildable lot in Dunstable?
We don't.
Just as is?
But
What's the
buildable,
proper?
Is it 250?
it's buildable
It
by,
is?
yeah, it's
The
buildable by the
assessed value is
size.
250.
Yeah,
The
but in
frontage.
the size is all that matters, because you can blasting it could be blasting, or it could just be an excavator with a chisel on it, just cracks off the
Yeah,
land.
yeah.
They swoop, they roll in a undercar garage and
Yeah, but you gotta get a septic system in there. You can't
it's
blast.
2
a
acres.
septic-
But I mean, if it's, you gotta have someone
Yeah.
perk test the lot,
Right.
but that's all a buyer's responsibility.
We tried to see if anybody perked it, we couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
on that. But it's going back to 96, so.
Right, it's, yeah.
But you mean, that in 96, if you got, how many houses are on Century Way? 9 or 10? They all have septic systems.
Century Way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
So it's generally assumed you could get a septic system in there. Again, that's without any investigatory work, because you have
Yeah.
15 other houses that got it.
On either side, and, yeah.
I mean, the only issue that I have is because I bought I bought lots before at auction. We typically have a good amount of information before we put up our money and start. What would interest me with this one, if I were to be a bidder, is why these people walk away from it? Like, there's a building lot like that, what the hell were they doing with that?
It was a long time ago, though.
I know, but shit, well,
It's 30 years ago.
You can't explain what happens in someone else's family tree. So.
Yeah, who knows?
Oftentimes it happens with an actual home on it,
Mhm.
Yeah,
which is,
Yeah, you get a couple of siblings, my younger brother and I may not agree on something, and it goes on forever.
Yeah.
The Irish like a good, grudge.
like a good lingering
Good,
dispute.
a good grudge is thrilling as an Irish person.
Okay, so if I'm hearing this discussion, to summarize it, Jason, I would continue with the process of trying to dispose of this at whatever the prescriptive process is from an attorney. So I don't even have to get with Myrick or somebody and figure out where they got that will manage this through. But I think that there's no motion act here, but I think based on this discussion, we're all kind of in agreement that we should.
so before I get there,
Cash out on
Joan had a question, unless we've managed to answer it through our discussion.
Has anybody discussed this lot with affordable housing?
So I hear that question, and we had a meeting a couple nights ago in regards to, I guess it was 2 days ago now. And, there's some other parcels in town that have been designated for housing and such on Main Street there, or 113 Main Street. And again, I'm thinking we want to get as much affordable housing kind of as quickly as we can, so we don't have to deal with it in the future kind of mentality. So there was discussion about a Habitat for Humanity sort of being approached for those lots on Main Street to see what they could do. You could give them a beta test here, say, hey, do you want to build one house? See how it goes for the town. But, I also hear the budget in my back of my head, and if we got a quick 200K, this may take a little while, as my thought. This might be at next year's budget, just based on tax title. I'm guessing there's some loops that we have to, some process. It's probably not
because you
tomorrow.
No, it would fall to free cash and have to,
Yeah.
it will be next year.
Does that subdivision have well, I guess I'm asking a question I don't know. There could be covenants on the subdivision that might limit, I mean, I gotta tell you, I've done Habitat for Humanity stuff, and
You've done everything, man.
I've done a few of them in Dorchester. Yeah, we did.
But, you know, so.
I just think the site itself,
Maybe more than
it's
what
not an
Habitat.
easy site to develop, and the site cost to prep it for a house would make an affordable housing unit, one unit on that lot, difficult.
Okay.
But I'm not, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but just my instinct, that's what it,
Yeah.
that's what it tells me. But
You know,
I could
we
be wrong.
discussed at the planning board meeting that John had attended, you know, the fact that these days, you know, you can build a house and have an accessory
Mhm.
unit,
Yeah.
you know, detached or, you know, attached, whatever. So that might add to the attractiveness. You know, we were talking about that 1 acre piece of property over, off of,
Hall Street. Right?
Allsford. That, and, you know, in relation to, you know, the project on River Street that the guy really, you know, would rather give us money rather than make one of his fancy units into an affordable unit that's gonna be not affordable. And we just talk about different things, but, you know, before I have no problem, you know, getting rid of it, but, you know, before we do it, I think we need to make sure you consider all the alternatives. I don't know what makes something unbuildable,
Not being able to put in a septic system, essentially.
not being able to put in a septic system, and that would be because of the ledge.
Yeah,
Or not passing a perk test, yeah.
well, you can't perk in ledge.
Right.
And then the cost of it, right? How much ledge, you know, down where I am, those 4 houses, those all were blasted, but he had 4 lots in there, so it worked for him. But I don't know, you could buy this and have, you know, $175,000 worth of site cost.
Yeah.
You're in trouble with that.
Unless it was 100K.
Huh?
Unless it was 100K.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right?
I mean, it's-
shit, even to go in and with a machine and break the ledge out, once you start getting into ledge, it's like,
And
so
your house-
it may not be a lot that anybody's gonna want once they start looking at the subsurface conditions.
But we have the same issue, don't we, with, on Lowell Street there,
Yeah.
113. In that, area there, it's designated for affordable housing, that's also, quite a bit of ledge in there as well.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with trying.
All right, so I'll do actual work on this now. I just didn't want to waste my time now.
Yeah.
So I'll do, work on it. I'll gather the information. I'll, reach out to town council, and I'll reach out to a couple of the firms that I've used for the auction process, and then I'll report back to the board.
I mean, if you have a law firm that you have an understanding of that's good with this, we don't have to use Myra.
Right, no, I know, but if they have someone on their team that does this, it's probably
No, I'm sure they do.
just as easy, but yeah,
Okay.
thank
So
you.
that's your path forward there, young fellow.
All right, very good. All right, next up, the Dunstable Conservation Commission requesting the use of Wetland Protection Act funds in order to, in the amount of $2,000 to be used to title searches for 2 parcels, one for the Kennedy Conservation Restriction on High Street, and the second for a 1.3 acre lot on Lower Massatog Pond that the commission is looking into purchasing. So it's required under the statute of the Wetlands Protection Act that funds used from this specific Wetlands Protection Act fund has to be approved by the select board. So that's what this is.
Why do we, so someone asked me this, they're like, why do we cover the cost of doing this? And I know this has come up in a meeting, I think it came up in an
We
advisory
don't.
meeting
So-
back in the day.
We're not covering the cost. This cost comes from the Wetlands Protection Act fund,
Okay.
which is solely funded by filing fees for people who submit an application to the Conservation Commission for work. So this is no money that's coming out of anybody in the town's pockets. It's someone who has submitted a notice of intent. There's a filing fee associated with that. Half of that filing fee plus $25, it's a very weird formula, is given to the town fund, the
Okay.
Wetlands Protection Act fund. So that's solely where that money comes from.
Cool, okay. That's right, I mean, I couldn't remember the answer, and hopefully they're
Yeah.
watching and they're watching all the time.
So you're watching too?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is not money the town is funding, it's fees that have been collected through the Wetlands Protection Act, transaction fees.
Cool.
I included the map for, just so people knew
Yeah.
what the parcel was.
Yeah.
Lower Massapog. I didn't do one for High
Yeah.
Street.
No, I
We're-
mean,
we're all
we've been
familiar
through
with
that a
We're
lot
all
over the
familiar with
past. So it's a 1 acre, 1.13 acre lot or something like that, that is on Lower Massapog. The property is surrounded by land that's already owned by the Conservation Commission as part of the Parkhurst subdivision, open space area. And there are 2 other open space parcels that are there. So it's essentially landlocked. The property owners have been interested in selling this to the town for a long time, and they just recently came forward about 2 months ago and asked us once again if they dropped the price significantly. Because it's a 1 acre and it's landlocked, that we were in a position to be able to go forward with it. So
Should you offer them anything? It has no value,
it does have value.
but they can't do anything on it.
We're not going to do that.
I don't know, but just on principle, like,
It's for $3,000.
all right.
Okay.
I thought it was like 30.
Yeah.
Like, part of me was like, well, here's $1.
Well, that's where they
Like,
started years ago.
Yeah,
And
all
we're
right,
like,
three,
no,
like
yeah.
3 on that, okay, but like, we can,
No, it's
we're in a budget constrained year, I'm like, cut every penny there.
the money is coming from
Tinder.
anonymous donors.
Ah, all right.
Again, it is no cost to the town for this purchase of this lot. So
You just need the select board.
we
to-
need the select board to approve the monies from that fund to pay for the title search. That's all.
In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter
Hold on. We have a
131,
question. Sorry.
Section
Joe.
40.
I have a question.
Ron,
Go ahead.
she's got a question.
I'm just curious, we hear repeatedly that there's no access to Lake Massapog. Will this help in that regard?
It'll just add additional frontage along the area. I mean, that you can access it already. There's a path that comes off of Parkhurst Street through open space land to get there presently. This lies right smack in the middle of that, right on. There's a map here. If you want to take a look at it.
It's a funky way that lot was sort of derived.
Well, they were part of the original owners of the whole area,
Yeah,
and he just
never,
kept on, thought maybe someday it would be a little,
yeah.
beach
Almost
house or
yeah, Sell it to your
something.
neighbor, that's what I would have done. Sell it to them.
So there was.
We wanted to sell it to the Conservation Commission specifically to add to the open space down there and protect the greenway along Salmon Brook and Massapog Pond. So it does not increase the access, it just increases the area that is going to be town-owned. There's already access to this area through
I understand.
Parkhurst. Yeah.
Okay, it was access, I remember a discussion about there being access to some area, but it was like a steep slope and, not something that was easily accessible.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know how easily, but there is a way to get in there off Parkhurst Street. That, it's already there. This land is surrounded by open space land that has access in there. Yeah.
We've been. in
Okay,
multiple
I
times.
just, it seems to me that, that for recreation purposes, it's, might be a good idea to, enable people in town to be able to access that.
Well, this one, you'd have a difficult time doing that, but you can access this through an already accessed area.
So that particular area.
Yeah. Do you want to see the map, Joan? It'd be easier if you looked at this. I can show you. All that area that does not have a little house on it
Yeah,
is already open space. There's the Gulfway parcel, that's the Parkhurst open space area. So it's completely surrounded by open space, and the access is off of Parkhurst Street,
I'll say
in
that
2 spots, actually. Yeah,
from a public access standpoint, I know this isn't, it's not like all the time, but we are working with you probably know, we're working with the YMCA right now.
I do know.
We're working with the YMCA, we've been in discussions with them, we were in discussions last year, it didn't come together, but we expect over the summer, we'll have once a month, like a weekend or Saturday, where Camp Nomcat,
non-camp.
I always do.
What was that?
Camp Massapog. Camp Massapog will be open to Dunstable residents,
Oh, really?
with the beach being open to Dunstable residents. So that's not a done deal, but it's something we've been working on and in conversations with the Y, and we've had really good conversations with them
Oh,
about
good.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
You ready
Ron,
now?
back
In
at you.
accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, I move to approve the Conservation Commission to spend $2,000 from the Wetlands Protection Act Fund for legal fee expenses associated with certification of title searches required for acquisition of the Kennedy Conservation Restriction on High Street and a 1.3 acre lot on Lower Massapog.
Second.
Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, warrant for the town meeting. May 12th.
Open it up.
Open it up. Put the show on the road. Nothing to say about that, except to open it.
Just a
Yep.
motion.
Yeah, there's nothing here, so, all right. I move to open the warrant for the 2025 annual town meeting to be held on Monday, May 12th, 2025, and to close the warrant on Friday, March 28th, 2025 at 4 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Same
Okay.
for early voting. That's a quick one too.
Opt-in early voting for annual town election, May 20th, 2025. So she's got a schedule of dates for that to happen on Saturday, May 10th, May 12th, May 13th, May 14th, May 15th, 9 to 12 on the 10th, and then 9 to 1 for the remaining days. I think that was quite successful last year. Seems like quite a lot of
Yeah.
people voted
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
So, anybody have any comments on that?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get as much participation as we can.
Okay, is there a
Move-
motion?
Move to approve the town clerk's request to offer early voting for all local elections in 2025.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's
What is town meeting?
May
May
12th,
12th.
Swallow,
Is that-
7 o'clock.
Is that at night? What?
Yeah, standard, yeah, 7 o'clock at the school. Okay, there being nothing else, then we will, we're going to be going into executive session, so we will close this meeting and do a roll call vote to enter an executive session, which we will not be coming back into.
I move that the select board enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel, specifically Jason Silva, Town Administrator, William Farrell, Fire Chief, and Dunstable Police Union, NEPBA, Local 7, and to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, Jason Silva, the Town Administrator.
Thanks, John.
The board will not reconvene in open session following executive session.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kieran being aye.
Leah Basbane's aye.
Ron Michael, aye.
Great.
Thanks, everybody. Anyone want to drop